So we're going to learn to build a marketing funnel that gets the highest profit deals calling you. Because if you're like me, it is much better to have someone calling you than you calling out to a bunch of people and asking them if they would do business with you. I don't know about you, but I just like it better when they call me. It just works out better. So let's get into this. We'll get started. And I know everybody's going to be joining because this thing went late, but that's okay. So, first of all, let me ask, are you struggling to get started in real estate? Have you been dragging your feet? Have you tried real estate but got discouraged looking for deals? I talked to a lot of people on phone calls, and one of the big frustrations is they say they've tried looking for deals and they're not having the kind of success. Okay, you've been struggling, so you haven't had the kind of success looking for deals. I am going to help you fix that today, and I'm going to give you a very clear-cut path to fix it. Have you tried cold calling and ran out of gas? A lot of people are frustrated with cold calling. Cold calling can be very intense because you're going to sit on the phone for a couple of hours and literally have people hang up in your face time and time again. And even the strongest minded person can get worn down after having the phone hung up in their face a bunch of times. But that's just what cold calling is. Do you feel the market is changing and deals aren't available? Especially when you're in a smaller area, a smaller metro, you might feel that the deals aren't there for you and that you can't find good deals. And I'm going to give you a clear cut way to find deals in any market, and it works extremely well. Okay. Are you not sure where to start, but want a path to a quick win? Your logic is if I could just get a deal, get something going, then I could really make a decision on if this is right for me, if I want to see this, do this more, or if this is something I don't want to really do. I'm going to show you how to get a quick win. Today, you will learn to find as many deals as you want after watching this training. I'm going to lay out a very clear path for you to find as many deals as you want. So that will not be your problem. Your issue will be if you're going to do this business and what strategy you're going to do. We'll talk about that in just a second. All right, who is this training for? Let's get into that. If you are new to real estate but are looking for a way to get started, then this will definitely help you. So stay tuned for this. If you have tried wholesaling, flipping land, Airbnbs, novations, and everything else, and you have not had success, you have not made at least five figures from real estate, which, and I'd say mid-level five figures, so 40, $50,000, that's about the norm. If you have not made at least 40, $50,000 and you've done one or two deals or less than that, then this training is going to help you. It's going to get you farther ahead than you've probably been with a lot of the training that you paid for. Are you ready to land your first deal but can't go full time just yet? How many of you all, just in the chat, let me know how many of you all would like to do real estate full time? Would you, either you're close to retirement, maybe you want to retire, or maybe you just want something that you can replace your job with? Is that your goal, to get out of whatever you're doing and do real estate full time? I can tell you this: doing real estate full time gives you a lot of free time. It does not take up all your day, depending on your strategy. And it allows you to travel. I'm allowed to travel. I go see my kids. I'm putting three kids through college now. I'm sorry, two kids through college, one kid in private school, and I just had one graduate. And real estate allows me to travel and meet with them. My kids are all over the country in Atlanta and Alabama. So I get to go visit them and everything. So that gives me a lot of free time. This training will show you how to build a consistent marketing funnel to fund your lifestyle. Good. So someone, Lasso said, I think that's Lasso. You said you want to go full time. This is going to show you how to build a marketing funnel. The marketing funnel will then in turn allow you to have a full-time lifestyle doing this business. Because if you can't get enough deals, you definitely cannot go full time with this. But once you see the process, and I'm going to break this down for you, you'll be able to see what it's like to have this as a full-time lifestyle. Okay. So, how to master high profit real estate deals and build a marketing funnel. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to try to go slow with this because this is a little bit more advanced than what I usually go on these calls. But I thought this was important and it would let you see what we're looking at and how we look at real estate and maybe help you on your path. So let's talk about it. Tonight we will discuss how to get motivated sellers to call you. You will not be reaching out to them. They will be reaching out to you. They will be trying to get in touch with you when you follow what we're going to lay out tonight. This is also why you shouldn't look for motivated sellers. How many of you all in training or videos that you've seen, they tell you to go find motivated sellers? Just let me know in the chat. Is that what they tell you to do? Because I'm going to explain to you probably on the next slide, I believe, why you should not look for motivated sellers and why what you should be looking for instead. And it's going to change the entire way that you approach this business because we don't want to look for motivated sellers. That's one of the biggest misconceptions in this business where a lot of newbies and people that have been in this business for 4 years, 3 years, that's where they start off at. How to never worry about the right list or miss a high profit lead again. So if you've had training before, they probably told you to get a list of sellers. It might have been some type of seller, like a probate seller or some, that sound is breaking. It might have been a probate seller or something like that that slows you down or tells you to, they tell you to get a list. I'm going to show you why you don't need a list anymore, okay? Or at least not those type of list. So I'll try to go over that. How to do all of this using less than 1 hour per week of your time. So if you work a full-time job, you don't have time to do all of this and go into all of this stuff. This will show you how to do all of this in just 1 hour per week. So it's not going to take a bunch of your time, and you can do this while you work a full time. You can work 2 jobs and still do this and be very successful. How you can use a marketing funnel that I'm going to show you and the quick turn strategy, which is what we use to easily make 6 figures or more. Now, I don't know about you, but how many of you all would be able to make some major decisions in your life if your side hustle or your side business was able to make you 6 figures and you were doing it working less than an hour or about an hour a week? And it did not require you to make any major changes in life until you decided you were ready. That's what we're going to show you how to do. And I know that's a lot to promise, but stick with me because I'm going to show you also some of our students and what they've done following this process. Okay. So let's get into it. So first of all, who are we and why are we able to do this? My name is Art, and along with my wife, Aisha, we have been investing in real estate for 27 years. We have done hundreds of real estate deals, literally hundreds of real estate deals. And during that time, we've learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes that just goes along with the business. But how can we help you? Let's talk about that. We built life-changing wealth through real estate over the years, and we're here to share our proven process and real-world challenges because I'm not going to tell you it was all, peanut candy and ice cream and really sweet and great. Some of it sucked. But at the same time, we're going to show you how to avoid some of the things that we did, and more importantly, how you can kickstart or scale your real estate journey. So how you can get started right away. We've created a powerful 4-part strategy for quickly buying and selling properties without fixing up houses, without dealing with tenants, or even leaving your house. And you can do all of this while working toward building a lasting legacy business. Now, when I talk about legacy business, I'm going to briefly touch on that. What that means is that we're going to show you how not just to buy houses and make some money. We're going to talk to you about once you make the money, you're going to owe taxes. We can offset those taxes by investing in large scale commercial real estate. So when this is all done, you will have 2 businesses. You'll have a business of buying and selling houses that you make just cash flow from. And then you'll have a business of owning large pieces of large scale commercial real estate like mobile home parks, self storage units, strip malls, things like that. And then from there, you can get cash flow from that. And then when you're ready, you can stop the house thing if you want, sell that business, not the houses, but actually sell the business. And you can focus on just living off of the income from commercial real estate. And that would be tax deferred, which is a great way to make money because you're not paying taxes on it, at least not right now. So does that sound interesting to you all? Because that's what we're going to show you through these trainings. That's what we kind of teach everybody. Okay. Now, this is one of our most valuable trainings because this is literally the first step in building this type of business, doing all the stuff that I just talked about. What we're training tonight is the first step in building that kind of business. So watch this full video and please pay attention. If you need to take notes, if you have questions, just ask in the chat and we'll talk about, whatever questions you have and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. So what is possible with this? Let's talk about that. Our current students use our marketing funnel process that I'm talking about right now and are actively negotiating deals totaling almost $4 million in real estate. And several of them have generated over 6 figures in profit over the last 6 months. So they've made at least 6 figures in profit. So let's get into talking about a few of them. Many of our students are buying multiple properties. So they're buying more than one property at a time. They're selling properties. Like Lisa, for example. Lisa, who has never purchased investment property before working with us, she secured her first deal for a $75,000 profit. She is now working on her next deal. Lisa should do well over $100,000 this year if everything goes right. She's doing great. Or Kyra. Kyra purchased her first investment property and is selling for a $45,000 profit. So Kyra's in the middle of closing on her property now to sell it, not to buy it. And she's going to looks like she's going to walk with at least a $45,000 profit on her first deal. Or Yolanda. Yolanda's a student that really did well. She is a realtor, but she had never purchased her own property. She had helped other people, helped investors buy property, never bought anything on her own. After working with us, she secured a deal on 3 properties and made a $134,000 profit in just about 4 months. The most important thing about Yolanda is she did all of this without spending any major cash. She did not come out of any money to buy the properties. She was able to put together some of the techniques that we use and buy the property and make a great profit. So those are just a couple of our students. We have more that have done other things. We're actually doing interviews with some of them now, so you all can see some of the stuff. I've got a great interview with Yolanda on her story, and if you guys are interested, I will share that with you, and you can check it out. You can just see what she did, how did it work, what happened with her whole process. It was a great process, and she was very happy with the way things worked out. This all comes down to how you use your strategy. Now, I'm going to tell you really quick, our strategy is to buy properties and then turn around and immediately sell them. We don't fix them up. We don't rent them out. We don't put a lot of effort into them. We buy them and turn around and immediately sell them. This process works really well because it builds cash flow. Okay. I'm going to put in the chat just in case you're interested. This is a link to Yolanda's story. When you get a chance, check that link out and that'll tell you her story. You can watch the interview with Yolanda. But all of these people have followed our strategy of buying quickly and selling quickly. And we do not rent properties out. We're not looking for cash flow. We're looking for lump sums of cash. So let's keep going. So what is a marketing funnel and why do you want one? Okay. So to make the most money in this business, you need options. That's one of the big things people get caught up on in real estate. They look at all the glitz and glamour of fixing up a house. You've seen all the TV shows about remodeling houses. That is not where the profit comes from in this business. The profit doesn't actually come from remodeling houses. Yes, you can make money that way, but it is a hard way to make money. You have to deal with contractors. You have to deal with all kinds of market fluctuations. There's an easier way to make money and it's consistent. You need to make as many offers as possible. Surprisingly, the way to make money in this business is to buy property, to make offers. If you are making offers, you will make money. Okay. The more offers you make, the more money you make. That's just a simple rule. And a lot of people get confused about that because they get focused on the wrong thing. Don't focus on fixing up the house. Don't focus on dealing with the tenants. Don't focus on renting a property out. Just make offers that make sense for you and then sell those properties. Okay. First, to make a lot of offers, we need to speak with a lot of sellers. Okay. So we need to talk to a lot of sellers. If you get one deal or one person you're talking to, that's actually more risky. Now, why is that more risky? Let me touch on this really quick. It's more risky because when you have only one person to make an offer with, you're excited and you want to get a deal done. So you're just trying to work something that they say yes to. And you're likely to make an offer or put together a deal that doesn't make you enough money. Making $5,000 or $10,000 on a deal is not going to cut it, especially in this economy. That money's going to be spent before you even get to the closing table. What we need is deals that make us a nice size cash flow. So something like 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, those numbers, the double digits, the 20,000, 30,000. Typically our deals do about $35,000 or better. And that's what you usually need. When you make that kind of money, you can take some for yourself, some for the business, and some to hire help to help you do more deals. Does that make sense? Let me know if the chat, if you all are following so far, because like I said, this is a little bit more than I usually go into on these calls, but I wanted to go over this topic. So that's the first thing, to make offers to a lot of sellers. Second, the best way to speak to sellers is to have them call you. It's easier for you. Getting sellers to call you is an art form, but once you get it set up and you understand it, it will make your business infinitely easier because your phone rings. That's how deals come in. Think about any business that's successful. Their phone rings. It's not that they go out looking for people. I mean, they can, but it's not usually the most effective. If you can put out marketing that will generate calls in, then you're going to go much faster. Third, a well-structured marketing funnel will get highly qualified sellers to call you. Now, let me explain that. It's not enough to just get people to call you. That's great that people are calling you, but if they're calling you and their house is worth $100,000 and they owe $99,000 on it, it doesn't matter that they're calling you. That's not going to be a deal where you can make sizable money. You need well qualified sellers, people that have a property that has a lot of value in it, and you have a lot of money to work with, meaning that there's a lot of money in the deal. So I'm going to explain that in a little bit more, but that's what I consider a highly qualified seller. That's going to make you more money. Your job is to answer the phone and ultimately make offers. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but that's your job. That's it. It takes about an hour a week. Your job is not to go meet up with sellers. Your job is not to meet up with contractors. Your job is not to deal with tenants. This is your job. This is what makes you the most money. Answering the phone and ultimately making offers. That is the only thing you have to focus on. If you do just those two things, you will be fine financially. Financially, this business will take care of you for your lifetime. But that's what people do. Most people won't do that. People just don't answer the phone. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Let's discuss building your marketing funnel. So let's get into what it is to actually build your marketing funnel. So let's talk about why you should never look for motivated sellers. Okay. Most training tells you to look for motivated sellers. They tell you to look for lists of people like probate or foreclosure or tax liens or evictions or 90 days past due on their mortgage or all these different kind of things and these ways they have for you to look for sellers. Have any of you all ever heard that from any of your training or anything that you've looked at where they told you to get a list of somebody in one of those situations, or anything that is a reason why they would be motivated to sell? Is that what someone has told you in the past, when you're talking about training? And I'm going to tell you why that's not true and why you should look. And it's common sense, but a lot of people don't look at it that way. The problem is none of these actually mean the seller wants to sell their house. Okay, that's just the truth of the matter. In most cases, they want to save their home. If you've ever actually talked to anybody on these lists, they don't always want to sell their house. A lot of times they're trying to save it. If they're behind on taxes, they're looking for somebody to help them pay the taxes so they can stay in their house. They're looking for somebody to get them out of foreclosure so they can stay in their house. They're looking for somebody to stop now probate is a little bit different, but even still, they have gotten more than enough calls. You don't need to focus on that. That's going to be far and in between for you to find a deal. Okay, let's talk about what is where you should be looking. We don't really care why they want to sell. You don't care why they want to sell. If they tell you that my dog was sick there and I don't like the house anymore, you're okay with that. It doesn't matter. You only care that they want to sell. We only care that they have what we need to make money. And let's talk about that. What is it that we need to make money? The seller needs to have equity. That is the number one thing. The seller needs to have equity in the property. If they have equity, we can usually make a pretty good deal. Our funnel is set up to find us properties with the most equity. That is the biggest thing we're meant to do, no matter why they are selling. We can incorporate all of these: probate, foreclosure, tax liens. Sometimes a lot of people are not going to have any of these issues, and it's still somebody that we want to do business with and somebody that we can make a very strong deal with. Okay, so we don't care that they don't have all of this stuff. We just care that they have equity. That's the only thing we should care about. The sellers that want to sell, raise their hand and call us. That is the secret. When you find the people with equity, then the ones that want to sell will call you. And it makes for a much easier phone conversation when they call and they have equity. Because now I'm not going to get discouraged when we go through a whole script and they turns out they owe 99% of what the house is worth. We know everybody calling us, because of the way we're doing our process, will have equity. Okay. We make money by buying and reselling equity. You shouldn't even say houses. We actually make money by buying and selling equity. That's where we make our big money. And that's how we don't have to deal with contractors or tenants. Okay. I hope this is making sense so far. Step one to building a marketing funnel: is knowing where to market. Now, how many of you are, I've talked to a couple of sellers or a couple of students or people that want to become students, and they said stuff like, well, I look for the hot markets, or I look for the markets that are really moving and shaking, or I look for the markets that have the highest number of sales and something like that. That is subjective. That's what somebody thinks when they're thinking, where do I know a lot of people selling? Well, I know my cousin bought a house over here and she said the competition was high, so that must be a hot area. We don't want to go that route. That is our using our emotions. You must know where to market. What does that mean? Identify where people are buying and areas where values are high. Okay. This is not a guess. This is using actual numbers to figure that out. Knowing where people are buying and areas where values are high. We use an algorithm system to do this. So we use an algorithm that will give us a couple of key things that we need to know. One, identify where people are buying property. That's the first thing it's going to tell us, not by guessing, but by actual numbers. Jay-Z has a famous line he said during when he won an Oscar, an Emmy or Grammy or whatever it was. And he said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. We want to trust the numbers, nothing else. We don't want to go off of our realtor's opinion. We don't want to go off of, well, I've been in these areas and I know they're selling. We want numbers in our area. We use an algorithm. It will tell us where people are buying properties. It will also identify areas where there are houses valued below the top of the market. So where there are houses that have a good spread, that is going to help us make a lot of money. Okay, that is going to be a key part, but we cannot go on our emotions. We've got to go on actual numbers. We also want to identify a group of sellers likely to sell, mainly no new homeowners. If we go into an area and we reach out to market to somebody that just moved into their house 6 months ago, what are the chances that they're going to want to sell to us? Very little, because they just moved into the area. We want to identify the people that are most likely to be our avatar or our main seller that we're working with. Okay. Completing this algorithm, and don't get scared when I say algorithm. Algorithm is just a spreadsheet with data, and then it runs equations on the data to tell us what we need to know. So it's just telling us what we need to know with the data that we have available. Completing this algorithm will laser focus your marketing so you identify everyone in the area. So all of that stuff about the foreclosures, the probate, it will find all of those people and then a lot more people, if that makes sense. It's going to find everybody. This will lower your marketing cost and increase you finding high profit deals. That is what we care about most. We want to lower our marketing costs so we don't lose money. And at the same time, we want to increase the chances of finding high profit deals. And that is exactly what this algorithm will do. Okay. This is part one of building a consistent marketing funnel. What I mean by consistent is constantly bringing you deals. So you are not having where I'm working on this one deal and then I don't do anything else. We want to be able to work on deals consistently. We're always buying, we're always negotiating, we're always financing a deal, we're always selling a deal. That will bring you to a business that will make you massive amounts of money, because you're building it as a business. Think about it. If McDonald's said, we're going to find somebody who wants to buy a cheeseburger. Once they buy the cheeseburger, we'll make the cheeseburger and then we'll sell it to them. And then when they're finished, then we'll wait for our next customer. No, they don't do it that way. They make their money by people constantly wanting to buy burgers. And it's a conveyor belt. They're constantly buying, constantly selling. Okay. That's how it works. That's how we're going to work our business. Step two, letting owners know we are here. This is where a lot of people struggle with. Next up is how we touch these sellers. What do I mean by touching a seller? A touch is a way for sellers to interact or learn about you. Nobody knows about you. And to be honest with you, nobody cares until you make them care, until you give them reason to care. And the reason they care is because you are solving something for them, not for you, for them. We get too tied up in our emotions of saying, I'm starting this business, I think people should want to deal with me. That's not the case. Our goal is to solve their problem. Typically, we must touch sellers 3 to 4 times to get their attention. People are geared in this society, in this day and age, to always try to move away from marketing. The way to get their attention is to market, to bombard them, to hit them more than once. Usually we have to talk to them. We have to reach out to them 3 or 4 times, and then they will reach out to us. They might have heard us the first time, but they did not take action. And we're going to keep hitting them until they take action. Okay. This is marketing 101. This is how big businesses run marketing. We have to look at our business this way. Okay. Are you still following along with me? Because it's pretty quiet. I want to make sure you guys get this. There are many ways to touch sellers. So there's online ads, there's text, there's phone, there's direct mail. There's so many ways to touch sellers. And the most effective way that I've found is to do a 3 to 4 touch direct mail campaign. We run a 3 to 4 touch direct mail campaign. It works exceptionally well. It works exceptionally well. I literally will run a marketing campaign, and I track the marketing campaigns. We will get calls from people that got marketing from us a year ago, and they'll say, hey, I kept your stuff. I'd like to talk to you about buying my house. You can't beat that. Now, why do we do direct mail? Because you probably heard someone say, oh, don't do direct mail, do online ads. It's very simple. Direct mail, everyone gets mail, and there is no way to stop it. You can stop phone calls. You can stop text. You can stop online ads. You can literally stop them, but you cannot stop direct mail. I don't care. You know how they've got a do not call list? They don't have a do not mail list, and they never will make a do not mail list because mail hits 99% of all American households. It does not matter where you are. It is the most effective, and it works because they can hold on to the mail. It is physical. And if you go on an online ad, if you walk away from your computer for 30 seconds, you have forgotten what you were looking at the last 30 seconds. Mail is physically there. It can get stuck on the refrigerator. It can sit on a desk for 6 months. It does not matter. It is physical and it is there. So that's why we use mail. We will typically get a strong response from targeted direct mail to sellers. So the algorithm is first to figure out where to market and the type of seller we want. Once we get that group, which encompasses all of those other motivated reasons and more, then we market to them, okay, with direct mail. Everyone who calls us have what we want. That makes them targeted because they have equity. No one is calling us without equity because they never got our marketing to begin with. And that cuts down on our marketing expenses, and it makes sure that every call we are dealing with somebody that we want to talk to. It's not a question of if, now it's a question of if we can put a deal together, but not if we want to talk to them. That makes us much more efficient. That's why we're only spending about an hour a week doing this. Okay. Step 3, sellers will call and we just need to answer the phone. The biggest fail in this business is people not answering the phone. Our marketing will make the phone ring, but we have to answer it. I cannot tell you how many investors will spend tons of money on marketing and then not answer the phone. And the reason being, a deal doesn't sound like a deal all the time. So they'll do something like they'll sit on the phone and listen to their caller ID, their voicemail, and it'll sound like a guy. And he's like, yeah, you sent me something about buying my house. And he sounds very aggressive. And they'll think, oh, that's probably not a deal. I'm not going to call him back. But then they'll hear another call and it'll be a little old lady. I just want to sell my house. If I could do anything, I'll sell my house. And then they think, oh, that's the person I want to talk to. So they start saying to themselves, that's the one I'll call back. But little do they know that little old lady is rough. I've had little old ladies swindle me out of money many times. I don't, little old lady swindlers used to be young swindlers. So I don't take anything for granted. The guy is someone who's truly motivated and wanted to sell. He just sounds aggressive when he talks. You cannot assume anything. Answer the phone every time because that is money calling you. And just think of it like this. One of those calls is going to be a $30,000 deal. One of those calls is going to be a $75,000 deal. One of those calls is going to be a $150,000 deal for you. But if you don't answer the phone, it will go to the next person, or it will go to no one. Or it will just stop. Answer the phone. That is your money. A deal doesn't always sound like a deal. Don't let it go to voicemail. You may never hear from that seller again, even if you call them back. The rule is if you don't call them back in 10 minutes, you're probably never going to talk to them. We kind of beat that a little bit, but the easiest way to make sure that you get a much higher return on your money is to answer the phone when they call. Don't let the phone ring more than 2 or 3 times. Okay? You need to ask the most important questions first. I don't want to know about their cat or their kids or I don't want to make small talk. I want to get to the important stuff first. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. We have 5 questions we use in negotiation that are the opening of our negotiation. It is the start. If we don't get past these 5 questions, we don't need to talk any further. So I'm going to go over these 5 questions with you so you know what to say when you're talking to a seller. Not everyone is ready to sell right now, and that's okay. It is okay if they are not ready to sell right now. That's not our big purpose. Our purpose is to make contact with them, get them on the radar, and when we talk to them and follow the process, they will want to deal with us. We have a very good strategy, and it does not require us to do any kind of hard negotiation. The last thing is to follow up and ultimately make them an offer. If you can make 10 offers a month, I promise you, you will probably make about $250,000 a year. If you could do 10 offers a month, you will and that's probably low. 10 offers a month will probably make you $250,000 or better a year. Does that make sense? So if you're thinking that I don't know if I want to answer the phone, think about, do you want $250,000 a year? Because that's probably what you're walking away with from if you don't answer the phone. Okay. So follow up and ultimately you will make offers. That is the key to this marketing funnel. And this process works. It works time and time again. I don't care what market you're in. I don't care if you're in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I don't care. Wherever you are at, it works well. I've got students right now in very small towns that are doing really nice numbers because they are putting this process to work. Okay. And I said Hattiesburg because somebody here is from Hattiesburg. Okay, so this does not take much time, but it has huge payoffs. This is a big deal, and it will make you huge amounts of money. Are you following along so far? Now, I noticed a couple of people came in late, but don't worry. I'm going to show you how you can get access to this thing so you don't miss anything. What do you say when somebody calls? We've done all of this work. We've gotten them to call. We've done all the heavy lifting. What do we say when we get on the phone? Here are the first 5 questions that we ask when talking to sellers. These are the 5 questions that matter. Okay. 1, do you have a house you are hoping to sell? That's the first thing. Do you have a house you are hoping to sell? The reason we do that is we want to establish that they are calling us for a reason. Every question here is not what it seems. It is meant for a specific purpose. So do you have a house you're hoping to sell? Next, is your house listed with the realtor? I don't want to deal with people that have realtor houses listed with realtors because realtors are gatekeepers. Nothing wrong with realtors, but I'm not trying to undermine the realtor. If the realtor can sell the house, I wish them the best. I hope they sell it. If not, then that person can call us back, but only after their listing has expired. I do not want to step on the toes of my realtor. I want to respect my realtor. I love working with realtors, and they've made me a lot of money. And I want to help them make money so that when they deal with me, they know, oh, that's Art and his team. They're really good and we're fair. So we're honest with everybody. I don't deal with people that are listed with realtors. I tell them to go let the realtor help them find a property. Okay. The next is, what do you think the property is worth? This is a very common question. What do you think the property is worth? Let's have a real conversation about what do you think it's worth? Because believe me, everybody calling you has an idea of what their property is worth. They might not want to tell you, but they have an idea of what their property is worth. Next is, what are you hoping to get for the property? Notice I asked, what is it worth, but what are you expecting to get? This question is strictly to figure out if they are motivated, if this makes sense for you. If they are motivated, they will say that they want less than the house is worth. If you say the house is worth 100,000 and you want to walk away with 120, then you're not ready for me right now. You're not ready. There's nothing wrong with it. You're just not ready right now. But if you say the property is worth $100,000 and you say, well, if I could get $90,000, we can talk, because you've already opened the door that you're willing to take less than what that property is worth. Number 5 is, what is your reason for selling? Because from that, I can figure out urgency. Is it something where you need to sell it right away? Is it something where you don't need to sell it right now? And urgency helps me with when we make our offer. Asking these 5 questions will cut the conversation short and let you know if you should keep talking to this seller. I am not rude, but at the same time, we are there for a purpose. If we can help the seller, that's great. Let's work together. If we can't, I do not want to waste their time, as I don't want my time wasted. And I'm sure you would appreciate that. You just got in from work, you're doing your calls, you're calling people back, or you're answering phone calls. Do you want to sit on the phone for half an hour with somebody that does not is not motivated to sell you their house. They're just calling because they wanted to see what number you were going to give them. No, you don't. So let's cut the chase and let's get through it. And that is going to make it so we're efficient with answering calls. Does all this make sense to you guys? Because I'm trying to give you $1 worth of training for, for free. So I'm trying to get it to you. Start your negotiation with these 5 questions. A lot of people like to dance around these questions. They like to, how's your day going? What condition is the house in? How does it look? All these things that really don't matter. Let's get to the meat of the conversation. And then once we get past this, then we can talk about that. We can talk about your cat and your dog and how your dog messed up the carpet. But I don't want to do that on the beginning. I want to know that we should be talking. Okay. So if you want help doing this and you want to learn the rest of this process to building a full marketing funnel, I'm going to suggest you hop on an investor readiness call. Now, this is a call that we do with anybody and everybody that wants to learn more about our process and what's involved with working with us and all the stuff that goes along with our business. So I'm going to give you what we do on an investor readiness call. On an investor readiness call, we're going to see what you need to get started, what that looks like. On your assessment on that call, we're going to discuss the goals for real estate. What does that look like? Discuss what is holding you back, and we will show you how to overcome it. Because a lot of people, most people, I will tell you, their holdup is not financial, it's not credit. What their biggest holdup is that they don't believe they can do it, or they think that they got too many issues. Listen, we all got issues. Every single one of us. I don't know anybody. I don't even know you on this call, and I guarantee you got an issue. I have issues. We all have issues. When I started, we had $1,500 to start with. That's what we started with. And you're going to see some of the stuff we did in just a second. It's very simple and very straightforward. We will discuss a personalized marketing strategy for you of what it looks like to build something like this. We'll discuss financing options depending on where you're at. We'll tell you what options you should look at with financing. We'll discuss what others have done in your situation, and we can help you get a plan that fits your budget. So we have a bunch of different options, so we'll go over that. Let me show you what some of these deals look like so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So this is what we've done with our marketing funnel. We get calls from high profit deals using this exact strategy. These are some of the properties and these are some of the profits. These are not what the house was worth, what we actually made on the house. We asked the 5 questions to screen sellers. So you can get an idea. You see these houses aren't torn up or dilapidated or scared to go in the neighborhood. These are very nice houses. We make offers on every property that makes sense. It is a numbers game. It is not a feelings game. It is a numbers game. We did not fix up the properties before we sold. So these properties, the way they look in these pictures are the way they look when we bought them and the way they look when we sold them. Okay. This is what they look like. We sold to any and everyone, including tenants. So yes, we will sell to tenants. We don't care. In our first year of doing this strategy, we did $870,000 in profit. What I mean by that is that money actually hit our bank account. So you can see these numbers, and it's very clear what these numbers look like. And it did not take us years to do these deals. They took us a couple of months, but we were doing multiple deals simultaneously. So you can see some of the numbers. These properties are quality properties. These aren't scared to go into areas. You are looking for the wrong thing if you're not finding deals like this and making these numbers work. So if you want help getting your first deal, then I'm going to share this link with you. You can sign up for a quick turn investor readiness call. And on this call, like I said, it's a 15-minute call. We'll talk to you about what it takes to get started with us, what you can actually expect, in this strategy and in this business model. This business model works for a lot of people in different walks of life. That's just the truth of the matter. And we'll break that down for you so you can see what it looks like. And then you can decide if, hey, this is what I want to do. I will tell you this. I love this business. I've loved it for years. We've been doing it for 27, 28 years. It has changed my life. And I think that it's a very quality process, an easy way to start. If you're somebody that's not sure that this is for you, then you should definitely jump on a call, because I'll be honest with you and I'll let you know. If you click on this link that I'm putting in the chat, you can set up a call. If you set up a call, just come back and just say scheduled. Let me know that you scheduled a call. I'll be happy to talk with you. You'll be talking with me. I do all of these calls personally because I want to help you. Even if we can't work together, I can at least share what we can do or how we can help you or some resources with you. So it's a very straightforward call. I haven't met one person that's gotten on a call with us and said, I wish I had not gotten on that call. Most people are very happy with the results. So this is what a call looks like. Does anybody have any questions on any of this? And does it make sense to you? Or is this something that you're interested in? This is a little bit deeper dive than what I usually get into on these calls, but I wanted to try to do something a little bit more in depth where it would talk about our strategy and why it's a little bit different from what everybody else is doing. So I look forward to working with you guys. All right, guys, I look forward to working with you. Look forward to talking with you. Have a great evening. And as always, happy hunting. Talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Bye bye.